We're classy, no charades. Payroll baddies, rain and fire, get paid. Payroll baddies, rain and fire, get paid.
Payroll baddies, payroll baddies, payroll baddies. Woo!
Payroll baddie daddy.
Good. Woo! Is this how payroll baddie daddy is summoned? Is that how this happens? You gotta do
Thank
the
you,
intro.
You got me the
Thank you
chat.
for wearing pants today, Todd. Much appreciated.
Well,
Thank you.
welcome to all of our listeners, to all of our regular listeners. Thank you for coming back, and to our new listeners, welcome to our podcast. And just a little disclaimer, we're a very SAP biased podcast. If you don't like it, GTFO, right? So we're very excited today to bring you guys really a fun podcast with some really good topics. But wait a second, are we missing somebody?
Yeah, where's
Where's
daddy?
Giovanna?
Giovanna was running late today, but she's joining.
Where?
Oh, there she is.
Oh, hey, Gio.
Yeah.
Oh, what's up?
Gio. I like the
Hey,
suit.
I like it. I like
I
it.
thought I had the big chain on.
Ooh, yeah. Oh,
She got the
okay,
Flavor Flav side.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
I guess she's not talking much today. That's okay, though, Gio. Well, we're
She's
glad you're
happy
here.
to be here.
He's listening
So-
in.
Today's podcast, we thought we would start with a fun segment about what grinds Baddie Daddy's gear. Because don't we all love to hear Baddie Daddy go off on something, right?
Oh,
So
yeah.
What do you,
Hey,
what do you got for us today?
Well, I'll tell you what, I could throw out the hearts, but I've got a lot of anger about a couple of things. No, listen, I have always had a problem with this idea of a chair at the table, right? When you hear this from analysts and some of our friends, HR and payroll, they deserve a chair at the table. They deserve to have their voices heard. And listen, we know for sure, but how? Because it's so easy to say, look, you got to go help a company run their business. But it's hard to operationalize how you do that and how you set your payroll structure up and your department up so that you can create that kind of expertise where you really earn the cred to get asked into those meetings. And so I was actually having this conversation. I was walking around Costco, and I know Pete's up late at night, so I called my buddy Pete Tiliakis, and we start talking about it. I'm kind of grumpy at him because it's like he's a representative of those analysts that are like always with that. And I said, how, Pete? How do we tell our customers and our payroll baddies out there how to build an organizational structure that gets them invited to the table? We want the esteem of the payroll people lifted, right? So Pete, doesn't miss a beat, goes right into his 5 pillars. And I've seen his 5, I've heard of them, but I haven't really gone through and had him explain them the way they did. So I'm going to do a quick version of it, but then I would suggest if anybody's interested in organizing the payroll department or that structure to kind of elevate the department to that level, get a hold of Pete. I mean, he's happy to explain it to you. But it starts with a center of expertise around compliance, right? We can't let the business go out of business. And that is a critical component, whether you're doing a large enterprise global payroll environment with 35 countries, or you're, keeping the lights on at a 500 employee, a law firm, for instance. Either way, you need to have that as the core capability, right? The next thing, and this is really a change in the past, is delivering on the modern payroll experience. What does that mean? Like, I want to get paid when and where I want to get paid. And we're seeing that more and more daily. The idea of transparency and trust, those are huge things right now, right? And they've been, kind of coming on for the last couple of years. And then finally into that idea of the pay experience, financial wellness and, insights into my financial welfare at the company, or the company delivered that welfare. And then you move over into, facilitating the compliant access to skills and talent. All this means is, look, we got to make sure that the company can hire whoever they want, anytime, any type, anywhere. So whether it's a contractor, a professional, somebody in Thailand that knows how to, has a specific skill or needs to go into an organization there in Thailand or a division, department, Like you need to be ready in payroll to make that happen. And there's, a bunch going on there. And then enabling that organizational agility, right? So scalability. I have a feeling Imran's going to get a little bit of crap later on for like Atlanta being snowed in and can't get payroll done.
Oh, don't even get started.
So listen, agility from an organizational perspective is something that needs to be looked at. How are you managing redundancy, state of privacy and security, and leveraging data and insights to help that organization see around the next corner, right? And then finally, we got, advising on strategic initiatives. So if you do the other 4 things right, compliance center of expertise, delivering on the payroll experience or that pay experience for the employee, getting enabling the organization to hire anywhere, anybody, anytime, any place. And then you do that organizational agility component. The last thing you're going to do is you're going to get invited in to talk about strategic initiatives. You need to be proactive on business engagement and the forward-thinking strategic plans, what's coming around the next corner. So like that was a completely quick version of this, but, and click on, Pete's contact information and you can talk to him directly. But I tell you what, and I know something Pete just put out that he put out last year that was really interesting. Imran, you know about this, his survey.
Yeah. I think called the Payroll Profession Confidence Index survey.
Right.
So mouthful. So it's very unique research he's doing. And actually, like the thing I appreciate about it is he's upfront. It's free of any sponsorship or monetization, right? It's 100% anonymous. So there's not any personal information that you have to do. And then it's very inclusive. So he's not just looking for just admins or just a certain type of people, anyone that touches payroll. So for all you baddies out there, we'll share the link. Pete does a lot of good things just for the ecosystem, knows his stuff, right? He's one of our favorites. Hello, ATLian as well. He's a Bucks fan, but I try not to hold that against him.
Hey now, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
So one thing I like about the survey, and this is good for our payroll baddies out there to know, he spends time talking about, it's not like, when are you going to buy payroll next, or what are you looking at for, EOR, or, like any of the functional things. It's really like a sentiment analysis of what, are you held in esteem in your organization? How did you get there? Those types of things, which just goes right back to this, how do we get a chair at the table, right? It's that strategic delivery that payroll can do through that operational excellence. So like he brings it all together with this thing. So I'd love everybody out there to go and click on his survey and take that survey and you'll get the outcomes.
For sure. And then, it's just good for the whole ecosystem, payroll period, right? Because to get the results of that, the more people participate. So
absolutely,
check that out for sure.
Pete's doing a lot of great stuff. Like I feel like, guys, we got to have him on the show one of these days.
Dude,
that would be awesome.
Got to make that work. All right, cool. So yeah, everyone check that out. Let's jump over to our next section, Raj. Let's do new news. I know it's been a couple weeks now, but let's talk about GTM right? San Diego, all the SAP go-to-market salespeople coming together. Great event. Love the weather. Love seeing you guys. Minus Raj, Jesse, Gio.
Yeah, Rod, Jesse, where were you guys?
It's a very sensitive topic.
Okay.
Yeah, I was trapped in the snow. If you guys didn't know, there was a snow blizzard that went across the Midwest, and I was definitely having FOMO. Like I saw all the pictures and all the good fun stuff you guys did, and it just looked like a awesome time. So
yeah, that's a valid excuse for Raj. But what about you, Jesse?
Well, let me see here, Sonny Imran. Looks like you may have crashed a party or two that I was representing with an event, and you were there. So
way to turn the topic. But yes,
yeah, exactly.
Thank you for unofficially inviting us.
You're welcome. Yeah,
it was a great party.
Back to GTM though. Great event.
No, it was GTM. It was great. I mean, obviously we missed you guys, right? But like Todd, myself, Imran, it's always great. We kept it GTM. I kept on getting confused whether it was, FCOM, CSCOM. Next time it's just going to be some kickoff meeting, right? But we'll stick to the good old, FCOM.
FCOM.
I think, like, personally for me, it was great because kind of like what Imran said, like we got to meet a lot of, the field sales, all the great kind of sales leaders from different line of businesses, kind of seeing how SAP overall is aligning their broader strategy with the different lines of business, right? And kind of seeing how we all as partners, along with, different industry folks, right, can come in and ultimately help the customer. So I think it was great. The parties were great. The connections were great. What do you think, Todd?
Yeah, I had a great time. Going back, a lot of CSPs there, like the folks that take care of our customers, and they were super into the baddies, which is fun. They're celebrating their customers going live. We might see something about that, but I was also super excited to see a lot of the folks in our sales organization that work in payroll are still here. Like we have a lot of longevity in the payroll ranks, and so that's great. It's great to see those guys, and they were super excited about our mission to elevate the prestige of the payroll crew.
Yeah, and I got to give a shout out to Imran and Todd, both of you guys. Like, I don't think you've given sort of, what do we call it, the payroll chain ceremony, like officiating all of the new payroll baddies, knighting, right? Like, you guys knighted so many payroll baddies, I think for the right reasons. And I think for those of you that are watching this, you've seen all of our posts on there. It was just a great experience, kind of having everyone collaborate and have that camaraderie around payroll in general. And like, even our SAP, like, I was there with my SAP counterparts, and they're like, I see so many people wearing these payroll chains. Like, what's all that about? I'm like, hey, it's SAP, it's SuccessFactors, it's payroll. We're making rounds, baby.
And listen, I don't want anyone to get confused. If they were wearing a chain, they earned it. We do not just hand them out, right?
Yeah, that's right.
But the reality was in San Diego, there are a lot of people that earned it and have put in years. Todd, I saw your post, 30 years, the whole Costco, the silver thing, they earned it. So yeah, that might have had a lot of people, but we're just trying to really bring that out for the people that have worked in this for a very, very long time.
For us who weren't there, and again, the FOMO was real, but like just seeing the feeling that we carried from Portugal of like the payroll being on center stage, it just felt like it was still carried over to GTM.com, and we loved seeing that. And again, as Sunny said, all three of you, thank you for kind of facilitating that. But it seems like everybody was just waiting to release their inner payroll baddie, and it seems like
it was awesome.
So
absolutely,
that's great. Actually, since the last time we met, did you guys hear about the news about Paychex and Paycor? So I know, like, I know a lot of people maybe in the SAP space and like in the bigger market, sometimes Paychex and Paycor are not really talked about. But from SAP going down market, I know we sell a lot into mid market. I know that that's a really huge space now for SAP. Again, Paychex and Paycor was a big news, at least to me, is because those are two big competitors. Now there's going to be one, and it's going to be interesting to see how they meld those two things, right? And I guess one thing we can maybe say for another time, one thing that kind of maybe grinds my gear is that if you actually look at Paychex and Paycor and all these other companies, they sometimes don't see SAP payroll as a competitor. Well, because they're so downstream, but then you see them throw in like Workday and things like that. So I think they need to understand, look, SAP payroll is not only for large enterprise clients, it goes down too, to mid-market and SMB. So again, it's going to be interesting to watch the space. So I don't know if you guys had any thoughts about what happened or any other things about that.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's interesting for sure, right? There's a lot of activity going on, right? VC space, funding. So, I'm watching it. I don't have too many thoughts on it though. I don't know if anyone else does.
I'll just say it validates our strategy. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah. Good.
Short but powerful. The other thing, Raj, I read recently was this whole kind of extension with the whole SAP Rise, like the whole maintenance period or something of that sort. Like, what's going on with that?
Yeah, I mean, that's
Have you guys heard about it?
I would love to hear from everybody, but like Todd being at SAP too. But again, from what I understand of looking at the post was that SAP is not saying that they're increasing their, like, again, 2027 is a deadline, right? They are allowing, if you sign on for Rise for some customers, allowing them to maybe push it to 2030, like have a longer leeway, but you still have to sign a contract for Rise before 2027. So
Yeah.
again, this is where where did Todd go? I can't see him.
That's Todd. This is a
right?
safe space. You can come back in, man.
It would be great to understand.
Well,
I think I understand SAP's logic here, but just again, I hope this is not like a soft push, you know?
Yeah. I mean, I think the devil will be in the details, right? There's a lot more to kind of get into and air and what are the prerequisites for it. But just generally speaking, I mean, there's so many customers that are already on premise that it's almost like, are there even enough consultants in the world if all of them suddenly decide to move? So
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess part of it is we need to hear more about it. So I'm waiting for that to come out before making any rash, you know.
And I know, at least from what I was told, like it's going to be impacting only customers with like very super complex IT landscapes, right? And apparently
Well,
SAP, and so Todd can validate this if he's authorized and able to, that SAP is going to communicate in the first half to who those customers are.
Yeah, we'll know more. I mean, at the end of the day, we want to give our customers flexibility to ensure that their continued business operations continue to operate and they can take advantage of, you know, the ROI that they've had for the X amount of years they've been on our system before daddy was a daddy, right? It was goes back a long way. We have a lot of comprehensive functionality that they're taking advantage of, and it's not as easy as some of our competitors may seem to be jumping, you know, from one ERP to the next.
Absolutely. Awesome. Well, what other topics do we have, guys?
Well, food for thought.
Ooh, food for thought. Okay.
So, yeah, I know. That's where I was going with this. I'm like, food. I'm hungry. It's been a long day. Raj, you and I have been talking a little bit about this HR and IT dynamic lately. And I've had some conversations this week where it's come up. Sometimes it's super beautiful. Sometimes it's not beautiful. And this is a loaded topic. There's a lot. I'm just kind of curious conversation here. And then when you also think about payroll and finance and where does that come in? So the HR and IT dynamic.
I mean, isn't that like the... Sorry, go ahead, Sonny.
No, go ahead, Raj.
I was going to say, isn't this like a tale as old as time about HR and IT and all that stuff?
Yeah.
That's all I'm going to say. But yeah, Sonny, please.
No, I was just going to say, I mean, there's pros and cons to both sides, whether if you're playing nice, you're not playing nice. But I will tell you guys this, like the most successful transformations that I've seen are the ones that HR and IT are in sync. Sounds easy, but it's super hard, right? And I've been in situations and even client stories where we've gone in, I'm not going to name the clients. It's been an IT-driven initiative where HR is just along for the ride. And once the project is live, HR finally figures out, wait, this is not what I wanted. Who designed this thing, right? And how come no one really truly asked us and consulted with us? So that's a story, and then we had to go back and sort of redesign. So you don't want to get into that cycle, right? And so start off the bat making sure
right?
Yeah.
Where you buy something and then IT has to figure out the integration to it the other way, right? And like, oh well, how are we supposed to make that work, right?
Well, and I think that is such a, again, and the conversation that Jesse I was having, and what I have been kind of noticing, and I would love to hear your thoughts on it, is actually even this is again, we're talking here about implementation, but even before that, right? You know, again, when we're in sales cycle, again, we are an SAP biased podcast, so I can say this again. I cannot fathom why somebody would pick something besides SAP, especially if you're again using other things if you're an SAP shop using other things. But what we're seeing sometimes, and again, I want to see if you guys are seeing this too, is that let's say IT is controlled, you know, all the landscape, the technology for how many ever years. Sometimes I think HR feels like they have a back seat and they don't have control. And when it comes time for, we need to pick a new HR product or we're moving to the cloud or things like that, I feel the only reason, and again, this is me being biased, right, that I see that somebody picking not SAP and going to, you know, whatever, is because they're like, I want to get away from what IT is using, right? I want to get away. I want to have control. And that is I'm trying to say this in a nice way, that is such a bad decision. Again, there's no other way of saying that, because I get it. I get that, what the feelings and, not having control, not having a seat at the table, that goes back to the conversation you guys are having, right? HR and IT together, there should be a seat at the table. They should be working together. But don't make a decision just because it's the technology choice that IT doesn't own or use, or vice versa, right? So I think that's where that really got me thinking. It's like from a sales perspective, I hope we don't see more of that. Is all I'm
Yeah.
saying.
I actually think we're seeing less of it, frankly,
Yeah,
because
that's
that
great.
kind of started back with the cloud early days when, HR got their own budget, and it was the first time that happened in a while because, normally IT does the procurement on the technology components. IT gets their own budget, and first thing they want to do is kind of go off-roading because they don't have a good relationship in some cases, right? And that did not work out. We see a lot of integration issues over time, data security, data privacy, this ransomware that we talked about the other day. I mean, all that stuff gets impacted by a little lack of standardization in the back office. And so we're seeing a lot less of it and a lot more synergy in keeping everything in a complete business suite.
Yeah.
I
And on
think
the
it's
flip
better.
side, oh, go ahead,
Yeah,
Jesse.
go ahead.
No,
No,
I
I
was
was
just
gonna say,
gonna.
I think
Yeah.
you go.
No, go. Go for it. Go.
Giovanna, what do you think?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
she's
think
been really
Guys,
quiet
Gio's
today.
been super quiet,
yeah,
Gio.
Yeah.
we'll let Gio talk. So Giovanna says, from a delivery standpoint, of course, right? Giovanna thinks it's definitely gotten better. You're right, Todd. I think there's been great strides. Like Giovanna, have a customer where HR, the CHRO, and the CIO are literally best friends, right? They can finish each other's sentences. The CIO looks out for the CHRO, right? Wants to make sure that at the end of the day, the experience for the employees is that of what the CHRO's vision is. And so I really love seeing that as the chief delivery officer here, right?
Gio, that's amazing.
Great
Yeah,
deal.
what a profound
Wow.
thought.
Yeah,
But there's
absolutely.
still challenges. We also come into challenges where, we still are years behind and IT has picked a solution and hasn't maybe kept HR at the table for the decision making. And even though they may have even picked SAP, right? And we know that's king, the challenge is the process piece. The processes aren't well known, right? What are you really truly trying to solve for? And then you're trying to solve for it later on. So I still think there's room for growth to make sure in the RFP stage, early on, the demonstrations, that HR is there for everything and has a voice. What great, insightful.
Absolutely,
approach.
Gio.
So
Yeah.
smart, Gio.
She's
Smartest
so
thing she said
smart.
on this podcast.
But but again, I shared an article in our group, and Todd mentioned it earlier today. But we should give some shit to Imran. What's going on in Atlanta, buddy? So
yeah.
just the article came out, and again, I feel again we obviously there's a lot of details that we don't know, and you always feel bad when things like this happen because it's affecting people's livelihood. So this is no joke by any means. But again, the article stated it was again I think a school district or something in Atlanta because of all the snow days that they missed a payroll and missed getting people paid. So
Is
again,
someone
in my
manually
head,
going into the office and like running payroll? That's why they
I
couldn't
don't know. I
know.
mean, look, guys, yeah, we don't deal with snow very well over here. It doesn't spin and,
Obviously.
Clearly.
yeah.
Hey, although I made it to San Diego though, guys.
Oh,
Hey.
low blow,
Hey.
low blow. So
No.
Gavin.
But I do think this is an important conversation, right? Because I don't even know what software was or anything, and I'm not even trying to give anyone shit over anything, right? Because it could happen to anyone, and some of it is process-related things. Do you just have a desktop that's in an office, and that's the only way that you can access the payroll system to do it? Like, I have more questions than answers, but I think it gets you to, it's 2025, right? You should be able to run payroll remotely from wherever you are. And so
Right.
as emergencies come up or things happen, then, you'd have to have those contingencies planned.
Listen,
yeah,
it's 2025. Your payroll should be running while you're sleeping.
yeah, exactly.
Boom.
Well, what's awesome about this? We just connected back to Batty Daddy's grinding his gear and the 5
Yeah,
pillars
good.
of modern payroll, right? So this is how
Continuous
awesome we
payroll
are.
is a real thing. It always
Exactly.
is right.
Yeah.
Love it. So guys,
awesome.
yeah, I mean, I think we talked about a lot of great topics, right? I think we're kind of we'll close it out with one final announcement that I wanted to make. I know we've been kind of planning this for quite some time, and I think it's super exciting that we're gonna have our chief esteemed guest, Marianne Abajay, on our next podcast. So looking forward to having Marianne. I think that there's a lot of great sort of insights and support that she's been kind of doing across the whole SAP SuccessFactors, community, and specifically around payroll. So I think it's going to be a great conversation. We're looking forward to that, and can't wait. So that being said, we have some more upcoming amazing content. We're not going to release all the details just yet. More amazing guests that are coming up. So be sure to like, subscribe. We're focusing on our LinkedIn and YouTube, so continue to make sure you follow us on there. Lots of great content, and I want to thank Raj and Imran, both of you guys, for continuing to kind of keeping publishing and keeping that momentum going.
So it's all of us, teamwork.
Absolutely. So thank you so much, guys.
Yeah.
And
okay,
we look forward to the next one. Go ahead, Raj.
And let's just say a big thank you to Giovanna. Again, I know she didn't speak a lot today, but I felt like when she did speak, it was on point.
Yo.
Love everybody. Baddies out.
Keeping it hype. Doing payroll right. We don't need no stripe. Work they calling y'all rock stars, ain't that cute? Day Force, UKG, y'all still in pursuit. But we baddies in the game, bringing more to the loop. Yo. Baddies bring the clarity, got clarity in sight. We bring a payroll tech, making it right, spreading the word from S4 to the cloud. Baddies got the vision, making payroll proud. SAP payroll is king, we wearing the crown. Those companies starting with P, y'all know the name. Try to keep up, but it's not the same. Tech on lock, we automating the flow. No more headaches, we let that payroll glow. Innovating daily, got the future on deck. Payroll baddies, running it, showing respect. So all the payroll baddies, you know who you are. Join the cause, let's take it far. All you baddies out there, it's time to rise. Join the movement, no compromise. Keep your rock stars, we're classy, no charades. Payroll baddies, rain and fire, get paid. Payroll baddies, rain and fire, get paid. Yo, with baddies in the game. Payroll baddies, rain and fire. But we baddies in the game, bringing more to the loop.